Tuned in, the signal's clear. Coming through Geocache Talk. A voice on the line I hear. Coming through Geocache Talk.
It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for our opening and Baker Six Clan for our opening as well, and our featured patrons, Demon Hunter 2, who is on vacay. He's coming back home, but his brother is in town. He's in the other room. Aggie Jedi Master, that's him. Electric Water Boy, Antaeus, Joshua the Geocaching Vlogger, Nick at Cashley, One Kind Word, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, and our new patrons, Team Monroe's, Jokerus, Skippy Teddy 83, and Casper Fly, and Retired Guy. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocache talk, or on the Geocache Talk website, you can click on the little heart. Oh, isn't that sweet? To become a patron. Patrons get the now famous blackout coin. Ooh, yeah, there you go. There you go. Perfect. There's that one. Oh, yeah, there's that one. Oh, hey.
Stop rubbing it in.
I know. People want the green one.
Oh, what's that?
Oh, what's that? What's that one? Oh, I got that one too. Yep.
Somewhere to focus.
How about...
There may be a contest coming up to get that one soon.
Yep. And someday, not currently available to the public, is that one. Ooh, okay. Never mind. We'll talk about that one later. Talk about that one some other day. Other geocaching items in the year, well, as bonus content, we had our patron party a while back. Last Tuesday, right? No, last
2 weeks
Tuesday was
ago.
Gadget Talk. Week before Tuesday. Invite special events, book club is going on. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level. It's $3 a month. Goes up to Golden Ammo Can level, which is just $10 a month, and you get extra added perks and swag for being at the $10 level. So let's jump right into show 218 as we discuss creative cache builds. And I want to welcome to the show Derek.
Hey, everybody. Yes, Tom, Memphis is in Tennessee.
Yes, Memphis is in Tennessee.
But where Memphis Mafia is, I'm not sure.
I think he's on the road somewhere. He sent a note and he said something to the effect of, "You boys have a good show." He says he's 2 hours from his next stop. So I think he's kind of starting to head back toward Colorado, but he's not there yet. So.
Yeah, so he's in between Tennessee and Colorado somewhere, we think.
Somewhere in there.
In there. He's between here and there.
Yep. But welcome back, Derek. Glad to have you back.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really excited about tonight's topic, of course, because it's gadgets, creative caches. It's what I love finding and what I love building. So it should be a lot of fun. It should be a few little debate issues too. So
yeah, we'll have some fun. It worked out great. I actually had this one scheduled, and then he's near where I go. I bet he is. Yeah, he's. Yeah. Oh, there's a where I go. It's like, roll your eyes. Stop it. We're not stopping for another where I go, please. For the love of all is holy, we're not stopping for another where I go. No, I'm kidding.
It's where he goes.
It's where he goes. He is where he goes.
Yep.
It's where Memphis goes.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was funny because this one was sort of on the schedule anyway, And people say you're not
Yeah,
loud
I
enough.
hear it. I got it.
He'll fix it.
Yeah,
We have different settings, and we're trying to make sure we get them just perfect. So
right. How's it sound now, guys?
that's better. Yeah,
Okay.
but let us know, Direwolf, if that's.
Yep.
So
We need more behind the cache videos. Sorry.
get
So
one-
I get one a week.
yeah, how many you want?
Hey, I do a lot during the week, and that one a week, and coming up with new ideas every week. Let me tell you, that gets kind of tough a lot of times too. And actually, when we're going to see some of them tonight too.
Yeah,
because
we will.
Not
Short
all of
tail.
them make it out into the field because them testing and the, as we call it, the shelf of shame and stuff like that. But a lot of it's just really concepts that I like sharing and seeing what others come up with too. So
Yeah, Force Awakens. We're going to get into that. Whether a gadget's a creative or a creative is not a gadget. We're
we're going to debate that tonight.
that's part of the discussion tonight. Pardon me. Didn't get to the mute button in time, but all right. So we're not doing gadgets tonight. We're going to maybe mention gadgets,
Right.
but there's a whole show for gadget talk.
And that's on Tuesday.
It's on-
Tuesday.
It's on Tuesdays. That's gadget talk.
That's Gadget Talk.
Tonight, creative caches. And that means anything that's not a gadget is a creative cache. No?
Well,
No,
okay,
no.
so
I knew I was gonna
see if I can say this right.
Wait, okay, yeah.
All gadget caches can be creative caches, but not all creative caches are gadget caches.
Oh man.
So that now we have a geocaching tongue twister now. Let's see.
All right.
All right, Gary, I challenge you. See if you can say that 3 times really fast.
All gadget caches are creative caches, but not all creative caches are gadget caches.
Say it again 2 more times.
All That's good. Yeah. No. But we have some definitions. We're going to try our best to get a full definition tonight.
Right.
So let's start with first. The term creative cache was coined by Ryan Simmel.
See you in the
Simmel's
chat room
123.
tonight?
I don't know. I don't see him yet.
Haven't
but
seen him yet.
Somebody tell him we're talking about him. Maybe that might be good.
His ears may be burning.
Yeah, it should be.
I
So
will later, Hugh.
yeah. So here is Derek's definition
All
of a
right.
gadget cache. You ready?
All right. So my definition of a gadget cache is requires some type of mechanical/electrical mechanism to access the logbook.
Okay.
So that's my definition of a gadget cache. So that could be, I have an example here.
And
That could be the Simon.
exactly.
So this would be considered to me it would be a gadget cache, including the famous. I have it here, just kind of the back of it. The preform dispenser. I would consider that to be a type of gadget because if I can find where it is,
Everything's
because you have the lever has to lift up to release the actual mechanism. And so this, to me, that is a mechanism, and that would count as a gadget cache itself.
And surprisingly, you and I agree on that one. So now, the part we do not agree on is the definition of a creative cache. So I'm going to bring up yours first.
We do kind of agree.
Kind of. Well, yeah. All right. So here's your definition. Tell me if now you keep changing this.
Okay. I didn't change this one. I added the other one. I added the electrical because a smart cache to me is a gadget cache.
Yeah. Okay.
So that I just added the electrical component to it.
That's true.
Okay, so for me, a creative cache is to gain access to the logbook. You have to solve a physical puzzle on the cache container itself. So you can solve like some of the ones. I'm just going to show them real quick. Like,
Yeah. Show one.
So this one here, I would consider this as kind of a creative cache where you may have a puzzle either on the cache container itself or on the description, and it may say 4 down, 4 right, or 4 left, 1 up, and over, and that makes a 6, or 4 over, and that makes a 6. So that'll give you the code for maybe the first one. Yeah. So that would, something like that you would have to solve on the actual container itself, to me would make it as a creative cache. So that type of creative cache.
Yeah, I like that. Now my definition is slightly different. Let's discuss this definition. I'm putting in the banners. So here we go. And by the way, if you're wondering about news, we'll do news in a little bit. We'll get back to that in a minute. My definition is to gain access to the log, you have to solve a puzzle or complete a creative solution. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a puzzle, but there's some sort of creative solution on the cache container itself to gain access to the log. So
pretty much the same definition.
Pretty much.
Before we get too far, I'm wondering where Scott is. We jumped right into the topic, and he's not.
I know we went
here.
right in. He's nowhere to be found. Right. The days when he wants to, rib us about starting the show before, late. We're not starting late. So
right.
The reason I put the little bump in there on that is because I think it necessarily doesn't have to be a puzzle, although many of them are.
Right.
So anyway, like you said, it's a small minutia of difference.
Right. So Tom says a creative cache is one that is like no others. That is creative, but that could also be not a creative cache, but a creative hide too.
Well, Jeff says that's a unique cache. It's unique if it's not like others. So
right. See, now we're going to open up a big old can of stuff this week because we can start splitting hairs, and it's going to be like splitting the frog's hair 3 ways.
Well, yeah. So that's exactly what I said. Yeah, exactly right, GT Buzz. That's what I said is a creative cache that involves no puzzle. It still can be creative, and that's why I had that. But there has to be some sort of creative solution that you have to get to.
And I have some of those with me today, too.
You have an example of that? Okay.
I do. Let's talk about this one. This is a creative cache.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And it's not a puzzle.
Not a puzzle.
So, and I don't know if you've seen this one on my channel, but this is a real simple one. It's a valve, and all you do is turn it, and it pops out a nano.
Comes out.
Dee-dee.
It could be, you can put anything in there.
Probably one of the only ways I will put a nano out.
That's for another.
That's for another show. But
that's for another show because I can't tell you. I want to put a whole. I'd like to do 1,000 nanos on 1,000 nano trail in the woods.
That's just
in the woods.
That's stupid.
Because that's a perfect challenge for people. You can find an ammo can. Come on.
It's a nano. It's a nano in the wood challenge.
I could walk a trail without any kind of GPSR or anything and probably find most of them. Come on. Let's up our game, people. Go hide a nano in the woods. Now we're talking.
No.
Now
you're that guy.
That's right. Now we've got a geocache. Now we've got an adventure. No, I'm kidding. But I do like that idea of you. Oh, contrary, you don't know. I might find somewhere where I could do something like that, but
yeah,
come on, it'd be fun, be something different.
Yeah, the geocaching Adam says no, thank you.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is that I understand. I understand, and then take a drink because that's for another show. Because I have heard people say I don't want to go through all of that hassle, because they just want to find easy caches and just move on, which I understand.
And those are fine.
That's fine. That's fine. These would be hard.
Pizza Ninja actually agrees with you. An evil nano trail could be fun.
Could be fun.
for you.
Okay. Yeah, microwave in the woods. Now, is that creative? Oh, Janice, that is a good question. Is that a creative cache? Not
Or
by definition.
not by our definition.
It's a
by
creative container,
creative container, right?
but not a creative geocache.
So does the cache make the container, or does the container make the cache?
The cache makes the container. No.
So if it is a microwave and you consider that as a container and it's creative, so does that make that a creative cache?
No. It's a creative container. It's traditional. It's funny.
Now, if you had a microwave and you switched out the mechanism inside of it and you had the keypad and you had to put in the code
There
and
you
then it
go.
opened up, that would be a gadget cache.
With the gadget cache, yeah. Oh man. All right. All right. Let's stop for a minute. We're going to get into more of that in a second. Let's jump back to news real fast. International Earth Cache Day. I just right into it. New souvenir is this weekend, and you're thinking there might be a problem for you.
Maybe. We might have been exposed. We're actually in quarantine right now.
Yeah.
My family, we were exposed. We're all tested negative, but we are kind of self-isolating and everything like that for the next little over a week or so. So it may or may not be. It depends on if any symptoms develop or anything like that within the next week. So,
Right.
but we'll see. But as right now, we're all feeling good. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. So it's more of International Earth Cache weekend. It's on October 10th and October 11th. You can find a Earth Cache that day, and you get a souvenir. So there's that. There is a new blog post.
Yep.
Thank you, Angie, for putting that one out. Here's the link. There's the link to it. And this was done by Gio Elmo. So a blog
Excellent.
with a B.
He was here earlier. I don't know if he's still on or not.
Oh, is he not on?
Yeah,
Where'd
he
he go?
might have had to leave, but he was on right at the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So fun stuff. Thank you.
Yep, and Gio almost had several in the GIF event. He's had several videos in there. Last time was the GPS 6000, I think is what it was called, where it was the portal that got him through that. So yeah, so he's really great. And UDAC, yeah, even the nano kids are having a right now. And we're trying to figure out how we're going to do our video this month because we can't go get it.
Can't go anywhere.
But I think we have an option, and if you don't mind, Gary, I'll announce what the actual challenge is for this month because we're going to do a video.
Absolutely.
Because it corresponds with what next weekend is to go get an Earth cache. So, and we actually have very few Earth caches, so we're going to kind of do it in our backyard anyways, or something else kind of creative.
Video-wise, right.
Yeah, we're going to do something a little bit creative for it, and announce our winner, and then because we're going to go get the Earth. If we can go get the Earth cache next week, we'll go get the Earth cache next week. Otherwise, we'll get it afterwards. So, but that's the challenge for the Nano Kids this month is to go get an Earth cache. So,
I'm sure people continue to laugh at us for doing this, but I always find it kind of funny. We're doing a huge announcement, not this week.
Not this week. We wanted it to be this week.
Yeah, Jesse wants to wait. The patrons know. So if you want to bug a patron long enough, you could probably you might be able to grill and get the information out of them, but we're going to wait on that one. But there's two major announcements, but one we made, the other one we told the patrons about, but we're still waiting. There's more meetings that are happening, different groups and parties are meeting together to, not really a party, but parties as in groups of people.
Right.
Are meeting together, and there's ongoing meetings. There was going to be one this week, but we had to postpone it Or I'm sorry, next week's is postponed. Wait, this week's was postponed. Sorry. We might meet next week. Hoping to get an announcement with that. The other one we can probably announce fairly soon,
Yeah.
but we even have a video for it, but we want to wait on that.
Okay. Force Awakens says don't say too much, Gary.
Don't say too much. Okay, I won't. And then the other thing I want to mention to people to make put on their calendar is that the Podcast of Hope is December 6th of this year. It's only 9 weeks away. I know that's incredible to think about. 9 weeks.
Wow. 9 weeks.
That's it.
No, Tom. It's only 8 hours.
9 weeks away, and it'll be 8-hour podcast. It'll be our 5th year to do Podcast of Hope. And I don't think I can top last year. So don't ask me to top last year's. When we had Jim O'Hare on, and we had Alexander Boylan was on, and we had Barsky and his buddy Mike Rowe and all that. But we're working on making it another great, fun podcast. We're going to try to raise this year $8,000 for St. Jude. We keep upping it, and we keep the cashers keep coming up and meeting the. We've had 4 years, and all 4 years we've met the goal. So this year 8,000. So hopefully you've seen some of the videos this month. I know St. Jude's doing a huge marketing this month, which has been great. I've been. It's hard to watch those videos and not have a Kleenex with me. But we are going to continue the process of raising money, because until we can get rid of childhood cancer, I don't think we'll ever stop.
So before we move on, talking about Barsky and Mike Rowe, and on the episode of Dirty Jobs they did when they're going after that, was I the only one going, hey, look, it's a micro in a cave?
Yes, there's a micro in a cave. You're right.
Yeah, I hope I wasn't the only one doing that, because I said, oh, look, when my wife and I and all of us were watching, the kids laughed when I said it, but I got hit by my wife. But I said, it's a micro in a cave.
It's a micro in a cave.
So, no, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Back to the topic. Upcoming shows we're going to have on next week. We're going to talk about, it's a international favorite point show. We're talking about favorite points, but not U.S. We're going to really talk more international. So thank you to all our international listeners and viewers. We try to do something for them periodically and not talk about just the U.S., because we have a lot of listeners and viewers in Canada and New Zealand and Australia. And shout out to everybody in Europe that listens. We appreciate everybody who is listening and patrons the show from other parts of the world. 2 weeks we have Cache Canada is coming back to talk about Road Trip 2020. And in 3 weeks, we had a request for talking about building cache pages and how to spice up your cache page. And Owen from KC is going to jump on and give us some tips and tricks.
Awesome. No, and he's in the chat room tonight too. Owen is.
Hopefully he won't bring us any ticks, because those can be nasty.
No. Definitely don't have Jeff on the show on that one.
Unless you have a tick key. Yeah, we don't want that. So
yeah.
All right. So back to Creative Caches and Gadget Caches. So I want to ask you about a cache that has a lot of favorite points, and it's the evolution of the rest stop. Hey, there's Cache Canada. Hey, yeah, they're like, yes.
Oh, was it in your 101 book?
It was in the 201 book. 201 geocaches to find before you die.
All right, what page?
I'm looking now. I should have marked it before. And I don't earmark my pages, so that's probably a bad thing. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have.
Let's see.
It's a popular one.
So as for the audio listeners, we're flipping through the book trying to find
We're through
which
the
one it is.
book because I wasn't
Where can we find this book, Gary?
smart enough. Go to Amazon and you can buy 201 Geocache for you find before you die. So
This
there.
episode is sponsored by.
This episode is sponsored by 201 Geocaches to find before you die. That sort of sounds morbid, doesn't it?
It does. When's 301 coming out?
Yeah, really. 301 geocaches to find before you die. No, I'll probably do another update of this book because there's some mistakes. I've fixed some of them, but I need to fix other ones. Where is it? Well, we're just going to talk about it.
Okay.
We'll move on. But you've seen it before. I think we've all seen. We've all seen this cache that is really cool looking. So, West Virginia Tim has one. It's at a travel travel info location
Right.
for West Virginia, and it's a birdhouse. You open it up, and there's a guy. Looks like an outhouse.
Right.
You open it up, and the logbook is looks like toilet paper, and you sign it, and he gets a lot of favorite points. It's got a lot of favorite talking about a lot of favorite points.
All of West Virginia Tims have a lot of favorite points?
They do. Now, is that a gadget cache?
No, that's a creative cache.
Is it a creative cache though?
If it's just on the toilet paper there that you unroll the sign, yes, it's a creative cache.
There it is. I knew I'd find it. Is that creative? It's a creative container, or is it creative? It's a creative cache, right?
Does it require a mechanism to open it?
No.
To get to logbook, then it's
It
a
does
creative
not.
cache. Then it would be a creative container cache.
Yes.
So I wouldn't, yeah. And I know West Virginia Tim's definition of a creative cache is that a cache that's easy to find. Let's see if I can say it the way he does. A cache that's easy to find, but is tricky to get to the logbook.
That would be interesting, by the way, UDAC. I don't know if I can. I'd have to look at that. I'll investigate that because they don't follow the same rules, and so. But I'll have to check.
So that's
Yeah.
his estimate. But I agreed with that when I first started doing gadgets and everything because hey, I wanted a gadget cache and I wanted those out there. But I really started thinking about the definition of that, and it's so broad it could make almost anything into a gadget cache to me. If it's an ammo can could be a gadget cache at that point to me, because if it's easy to find but you have to do something if it has a lock on it, then that would become almost like a gadget cache almost. It was a really, to me, it's a broad definition. Nothing against Tim or anything like that, but I love his caches. So don't get me wrong on that because I've done some off of his or all that as well. But I think the definition might be a little too broad, and that's why we kind of broke it down into two different definitions tonight.
Yeah, nothing against Tim, and I think if we were to have Tim on, and we probably should have asked him, but I think he would agree with our definition, which at the time there wasn't anything like that. I mean, there was some,
right?
You know, don't have to email me about that because I know there was some, but there's no question that WV Tim popularized gadget cache.
Oh yeah, I still consider him. He is the grandfather of gadget caches,
right?
And I don't think there is a person that has created a gadget cache that has not at some point copied something that he's done.
Right. So, right, Cache Can is asking about a block puzzle to take apart, get to the bison. Again, on the surface, I would say that's a creative cache.
It depends. I saw one that was a 3D printed this week that was a puzzle box. Something like you might see on with Chris Ramsey or something like that. To get to the actual logbook, you had to do several different mechanisms to move to unlock a drawer, to get the key, to unlock the lock. I would almost consider that as a gadget cache.
Right. Well,
it depends on the mechanism.
Depends on, right, you're saying it depends on the mechanism. I'm kind of saying that to make it a gadget, it has to have some sort of mechanical or electronic or mechanical mechanism to
We need a
access
Venn
it.
diagram.
We need a Venn diagram, yeah. And I would kind of disagree with my co network buddy Jeff. He says it's a very broad term. I don't know. We're trying to not make it a broad term. I think we can define it down further. And a low tech gadget cache kind of is a way to say that in a way. So yeah, caching dead is kind of that. So let's get into let me bring another one up, and I want you to kind of we'll show a little bit of old WV Tim's video here, and I'm going to ask you to tell me about this one. Okay.
Okay.
So let me share this one. Went to do. All right, go back.
Unique and can be very difficult depending on how hard you hide the clues. I call this cache safe cracker. The first thing you do is you hide an ammo can. It's got a lock on it. So we found our ammo can. Now the cache page says there are 3 clues that I need to find. I notice that this lock is an alphanumeric lock. So I've got to look for 3 clues to be able to crack this safe. Now, after we do that, at the end of this video, I'll show you how to make it. To make this cache, all you really have to do is be able to drill a hole. So we need 3 clues. So let's look around and see if we can find 3 clues and see if we can become a safe cracker. The cache page says that the clues are attached. So, of course, you can't attach them to anything live. But as I look in this area, I found one of the clues. If you look very, very close, there's a frog. And the frog is actually nailed to the bottom of that root of this cut-off tree. So we have an F for frog. Let's see if we can find 2 more. Okay, I've spotted the next clue.
So,
So I would consider that as a creative cache because you're not. There's no mechanism. You're actually solving a field puzzle to get into the cache itself.
exactly. And it's not because it's not based on the container because the container, I mean, it's locked, but that's creative field puzzle. Sure. But it's a creative cache. The dead frog. Yeah, that's very true. Okay, right. There you go. All right. Let's do one more, and then we're gonna we'll get into some of stop. Share.
Sometimes StreamYard's fun, sometimes it's not.
Stop. Share audio. And this one. All right. Here we go.
Unique geocache. It's a lot of fun, both for kids and adults. I wanted to give you a special invitation. Geo Woodstock 13, May of 2015.
Oh, that'd have been a good one to go to.
Just across the border, the folks at Geo Woodstock have invited me. West Virginia Tim sent you. Okay, before I show you this unique cache, I got to give you a little caveat. We're in my yard. This cache isn't out yet. It won't go out until June of 2015 after Geo Woodstock. It'll be part of a Berkeley County Geo Trail.
Love his trails.
Really kind of unique. It's really pretty.
Still want to go do it.
This cache is made entirely of Legos. They're all solid, hard as a rock. So I know there's got to be a log somewhere.
Glue them together. It's perfect.
So, of course, you can't see the log anywhere around the cache here. So, of course, the log is going to have to be underneath. So as I look up, and a latch that holds the log. Okay, we've looked at our lock. It's a master lock, 4-digit numeric. So I know I'm looking for numbers. As I read the cache page tells me that the first number is the number of dark brown. Second number is the number of pink block. third light gray, and fourth burgundy.
All right. I would consider that also as a field puzzle or a creative cache.
Creative cache.
Right. But I know, let's hear, Adi Olson saying, by my definition, it has to have some sort of no lock. It's a fine line. They can have a lock, but it depends on, I don't know. It really, there's so, I don't know. It's one of those things I debate every time I create a cache, if I consider this as a gadget cache or a creative cache. And I think they can have a lock on it.
I like his other comment.
But
that's why I think the mechanism definition should be amended to exclude a lock or a latch as a gadget in and of itself. I would agree. A lock does not make it a gadget.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, right. If you're colorblind, then that one becomes it's a D5. Right, exactly,
Yeah.
Tom.
And I've done one like that they started fading. So
Ooh, that makes it even harder.
That was even really hard. So
yeah, obviously this is a work in progress. We're trying to, that's what our show does. We're trailblazers. So we're trying to blaze the trail here and to get this to the proper definition so that we can go forward from here.
So no, bison tooth's not.
Bison
Unscrewing is not a mechanism.
That's not
mechanical mechanism. So like okay, I have something sitting here in front of me, and this is a preform, and so I'll break it down. So your preform would go up in here, and then this is actually set up for a servo, so you can have a servo in here, but it's a release mechanism.
Okay.
This is a mechanism with a spring that here, let me see if I can open this one up here. Let me drop that. Okay. So that would be considered a mechanism, and I pulled it back accidentally. So it's preform. It's a creative, but it's a mechanism. Something like this, yes, and there's no lock on this, but there is a way that you could do a lock on there somehow, and it would still be a creative cache or a gadget. So I don't know, it's like I've said before, it's a very, I don't know, you're walking a nice edge trying to figure out a lot of times which is a creative and which is a gadget cache.
A little bit, I agree. Direwolf is claiming that tonight will be a stalemate. We will see. I think we're starting to narrow in what a gadget cache is. Like, for example, what you just showed, by definition, is a creative cache. But if you were to add another element to it, some kind of Simon game to it, an electronic or mechanical addition to it, then you would be creating a gadget cache.
Right. So this one is a gadget cache, and you have to play Simon, and I'm not going to start it up because it gets really loud. And then the lights will actually beep out the actual lock combination that would be on here to get into it. It has a lock, but it's a mechanical, it's a system, and it's a electronic in it. So this would be a gadget cache. Now you're talking about the other one with that
Legos.
We're talking about the Legos. Yeah, that one to me still is a creative.
Yeah, we did.
puzzle.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But the one with the different mechanism.
Oh,
like
right.
This.
Yeah,
and
that one.
I know we have this in the notes a little bit further. A simple birdhouse gadget cache. Is it a gadget cache or is it not?
Oh, yeah. We could watch that video too, but
right. So, yeah, I still haven't painted it because I'm still trying to find out where it's going to go.
That's true.
Birdhouses are actually really hard to find for me. One, Memphis area is so saturated with caches anyways, and trying to watch out for proximity. And there are a lot of mysteries here. So a lot of people have done those mysteries and puzzle caches, and so trying to figure out where proximity is kind of rough.
Yeah.
And getting permission to be able to hang or put a birdhouse up is really hard because I like putting the birdhouses at businesses, and I'm still new enough here that I don't know a lot of the business owners yet.
Right.
So, but this one has the release mechanism in it, and it's been so long since I've done it, I don't know where it's at. But it has the different release mechanism in here, like that I showed earlier in the maze one. So it's a release mechanism with the preform up inside there, and you have to use a tot. And there's a hole in here somewhere, and I don't remember where it's at, but you have to stick it in one of the holes, and it will release the actual mechanism itself.
That's a cool gadget cache.
So this is a gadget cache. See, we agree. This is a gadget cache. This is not a creative cache.
Or is it?
Well, no, like I said, it is a creative cache. Because remember, all gadget caches are creative caches, but not all creative caches are gadget caches.
Yes, I agree with that statement. That is a, how do they say this? It's
like, isn't the other one, all squares are rhombuses, but not all rhombuses are squares, or something like that?
Yeah. I like that. But yes, so as we start to develop the full definition, I think we've got part of the definition completed.
Right.
We know that all gadget caches are creative.
Right.
Well, we hope. I mean, I'd hate to see a gadget cache that's not creative.
I'm sure there are. If they're done a lot, then they become like the LPC. The first LPC you think is creative.
Oh, well, that's a creative hide, but not necessarily a creative cache.
Correct. You can make one, but they're very few and far between.
All right, I'm going to throw another one at you because this one is, this one also kind of makes it.
Can of worms is fully
It's a
open.
creative idea. All right, tell me what you think of this one. Another thank you, WB Tim. We love WB Tim. He's awesome. I got to cache with WB Tim. That's a bucket list. That was a bucket list item for me. I actually got to go look for a cache that neither one of us had ever found before with WB Tim. So I think
cool.
that's kind of fun. That's kind of cool to. It wasn't anything special, but I saw that as a big bucket list check mark for me, was to go hunt for a cache with WB Tim. Of course, we found it because I'm with WB Tim. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
All right.
Then I want to take you back into my shop and show you how to build it. Interesting thing about this cache, there's about 2 or 3 options. So be sure to watch it to the end, and you'll see the different ways that you can build a cache like this. As you walk up to this cache, you see several different pull rings. There's 4 on this side. There's none here on the front. And on this side over here, there's 3 pull rings. Nothing on the top. As I look down the post, don't see anything. The bottom has a little something that's a tattletale. Right here is a plastic tube. Of course, it's got a note that says it's a geocache in my telephone number.
So let's skip ahead a little bit.
So now what I'm going to do,
And I've seen this cache duplicated several times.
Have you really?
Yeah.
I've never seen.
I've never found it, but I've seen it, and I've seen some results of it, and I've seen some really cool paint jobs on this one.
So
let me look.
Spoiler on this one is that it's not anywhere there. It is down below.
Nothing here on the front, all the way to the bottom.
And he basically split
And
that
the
wood.
pole looks really, look right here.
I love how he.
Right
oh,
here.
look.
There's a line that you can bear. Bottom, right down near ground level. We pull this ring. There's our cache. Okay, so now the cache.
All right.
So,
That is a very cool gadget cache.
yes, I would agree. That is a gadget cache because it has the preform release mechanism, a mechanical mechanism to release the cache.
Gadget cache. That's funny. Yeah. He created a mechanism. Yeah, it is sneaky. You're right, Direwolf.
It is sneaky.
That is sneaky. So,
And that mechanism is the one that originally, I believe it was, I just drew a blank on his name, is Dave.
oh yeah,
DW House.
DW House, yeah.
DJW House. That did the mechanism. And it's the same one as this, except what it pulled up had maybe a pulley system that came up to here and just kind of released that mechanism here. Real easy to make. It's got one of the drywall toggles and a safety latch for a doorknob, for a cabinet lock. And then you just have something counterweight here. And that's just how that would release that there. So that is the same way. Now, I've seen it where this has been bent up, and that's how it is in my birdhouse. So when you actually push the rod in it, you're pushing against it, so it pushes it up. But these are very fine, very like a hair trigger to do these. So it's really, really easy to make, very cheap to make as well. I really like these, and yes, this mechanism makes it a gadget cache.
Oh yes, we're getting to it. We're getting to it. We're going to define this tonight. I don't care what Direwolf says. There's no stalemate tonight. There won't be a stalemate.
Right. As opposed to adding a lock key. Now, he does have another one. We don't have it on the list. I don't think, no, we don't have it on the list. Is where it had a fence latch that opened up the door.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to use a credit card, and you push that in and hit that fence latch and come open.
All right. Let me show another. I'm going to show another one.
That one's, I don't know. That one can be up for debate because I've done a couple of them like that too. It's, I don't know. I don't know how you would define if that's a creative or a gadget cache.
Which one was that? The fence latch?
It's the ATM that he's got.
Oh yeah. The ATM where you push a card in and it pushes it.
Right.
It seems gadgety to me.
So Cache Line says the creative aspect is requiring a credit card. Right.
That is creative.
Now I've done one where you had to turn different, and I used to have this in South Carolina. You had to turn different bolts around on the top of it, and it finally released the fence latch mechanism, and the whole bottom of it dropped out. Would that be considered a gadget cache, or would that be considered a creative cache? I think it would actually be considered as a gadget cache because it still has a type of mechanism because you're turning the bolts. It is wrapping the string around the bolt itself to pull up on the latch to release it. So to me, that is still a gadget. That's a gadget cache because it is a type of simple mechanism.
Okay.
All right.
Let's do another one. Here's another one for you to ponder.
Okay. I don't know about you guys in the chat room, but I'm having fun with this tonight.
Hopefully everybody's enjoying it, even the audio.
All right, so now we got Josh, the geocaching vlogger, and Gary,
and me.
You need a tot. It has a tot. It has a couple tots.
How large is the tot that we need right now?
The first one is the sun.
The sun!
So it's a very large tot.
We need the tot of the sun.
We do, and then we need to somehow create and form a solar dial, sundial. So
You're revealing too much. Let's go. I'm a little nervous.
Okay.
Real nervous to go back into the sun. Are you ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Here we go. Wait for it.
I'll skip forward a little bit.
Reveal the loveliness. Oh, it's a little wet.
It's all I fixed it, by the way, so everybody leave me alone.
Gary, that doesn't look like a sundial. It looks like a plate.
I know.
I should have checked this before we had the video.
So I have sundial right here, homemade sundial, and on the edge of it, it says north. So I'm guessing I got to get this pointing north. How would I do that, Gary?
I provided a compass.
Another tot.
Another tot.
A compass.
The rest of that is called a gnomon.
In layman terms, it's the stick.
It's the stick.
You need the stick and the sundial. So, all right, I'm going to point this north, add the gnomon / stick. Right. There it is. See, there's the shadow right there.
So there's the shadow.
Okay. Creative.
It's got several gadgets that come with it, so it's a gadget cache.
Well, what's the rest of it? Because that part of it to me is a creative.
Got a gnomon. You got to have a compass. You got to have the sun. It's a lot of tots.
Okay, I agree with Jeff here.
Multiple tots.
Okay, sundial, no mechanism, just a field puzzle to figure out the combination.
Yes, that is exactly right. It is not a creative cache.
No, it is a creative cache. It's not a gadget cache. It's the same thing with the frog in the woods.
Is it a creative cache or is it a field puzzle?
It's a field puzzle, so it would be a creative creative cache, but it's a field puzzle because you have to solve a puzzle to actually gain access to the container, and all the parts are brought to you at the container itself. So it is a creative cache.
Yes. There you go. Yeah, and I did fix that one. I should have fixed it before the video, but we did talk about it in the video. I actually had the piece of paper with me that showed the correct colors.
Okay.
And anyway, so
All right.
It was a fun video, but it happens.
So in the same line of that one, I did one similar.
Yes.
To
you have that
that
one with you? Okay. Oh, yes.
So let's see if I can, without knocking my microphone off. All right, so this one, and no, I do not have the puzzle yet, but the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 are all on there. And then one side has degrees from 0 to 180, and the other side has from 180 to 360 on there. And you'd have to hold it at a certain angle, and the shadow would cast, use a flashlight, the shadow would cast over one of the numbers. So say if it's like I'm hitting, say 120, and so you'd hold the flashlight at degree, say, what's the opposite of 120? It would be 340. No, on the other opposite, directly across from the 120. So it casts that direction, and it would come across the 6. And this is a creative cache because there is no mechanism. You're solving a field puzzle to gain access to the lock itself.
240s.
240.
We had to get
right.
somebody who, right.
Yeah, 240.
Thank Forge Awakens. You're right.
I was trying to say that, but that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking I was wrong.
Yeah, I love that. It's a great creative cache. Tom, we have a lot of pot stirs in tonight, so
not all foil. Okay. So here we go. Let's see if we can add to the tongue twister. All gadget caches are creative caches, but not all creative caches are gadget caches, and some field puzzles are even creative caches.
But not all creative caches are field puzzles.
And not all, yes.
And not all field puzzles are creative caches.
Right, and not all puzzles are creative, yeah.
Yeah, it's a work in progress. So Ryan, you're partially responsible for this hornet's nest bear trap that we've walked into and stuck our leg into, and now we can't get out of.
Yeah.
So you're responsible. You're partially responsible for this. So
right.
Ryan, we're talking about creative caches tonight, not gadgets. So
yes, Arduino equals gadget. Immediately. That was on Jeff said that.
Yes, Arduino does equal. Oh, he fixed it. 300, 120, 180, 300. Add or subtract 180 to get to the opposite.
Yes. Okay. I knew. That's what I was. Okay.
Arduino automatically a gadget cache. May not be a good gadget cache. It might be a great one. That's for another show. But
the Arduino has to be working. You can't just tape an Arduino to outside of a cache and say, "Hey, this is a gadget."
Right. And it can't be a red herring where the Arduino doesn't do anything.
Yes, Ryan.
Adi, just run, Ryan. Just run far away.
Okay. So, which one are we moving to next?
Not all field puzzle creators are outstanding in their field. They might be standing somewhere else.
Very true.
Okay, where are we going next? Let's go to some PVC. Let's show the escape room one, because that one is definitely could be a gray area.
No.
Yes.
Well, yes, it can be. It depends on how you do this. Because I have another idea.
Yes, then it would still not be an Arduino. It would still not be a gadget cache. Go ahead.
Right. Yes, this could be. There is a way, and I'm actually getting parts to be able to do this as a gadget cache itself. And what would require All right, so let me show you. This is from this week's build. If you saw it on my channel this week,
It was awesome.
awesome. So
It was
it's just a
awesome.
simple escape room element, and these tiles actually come off. So these tiles would actually be in the box itself, and you have to figure out how you put them in there. And the line, and I don't have any of the numbers on here because I don't know which combination I'm going to be using yet. But as it stands right now, you're going to use this here to follow the line. It's going to run through the different numbers, and those numbers is what's going to unlock the actual box itself to get to the lock. That part, this would be a creative cache, so I'm using it just for the numbers. However, if you did it this way and had no numbers, and you had to figure out which ones went in different places, and you had like a reed switch that activated a door, and it opened up the door once you got these in place, that would be a gadget cache.
Oh, nice. See, you did that perfectly.
I'm working on an idea of how to do that, and that's if you go back to Tricassius's one where he had to remake his path tag in the puzzle that was on one of Josh's videos. That was done with reed switches to unlock it that way. That's a gadget cache.
Yes.
Where you're putting a puzzle together that way. But with this way, you're going through and trying to get the numbers to open up the lock. That's a creative cache.
Yeah, it's not. It's beyond creative field puzzle because there is a mechanism for that one.
Which one? Are we determining the number?
The one you did right, because there is a mechanism, isn't there, to get you once you get them lined up, then it opens.
This not right now. It doesn't. This is just
okay.
this is a puzzle. So
But
these come off. It will have numbers. So say
the
like
numbers.
this.
Oh,
so
right.
like this line would be like
Creative.
a 3, and then somewhere over here might be a 4, and a
it's
2,
still creative.
and you have to follow the actual line to get through.
Yeah.
But you have to. These all come off, and you have to figure out how they go in.
Yeah.
And everything. And once you figured out that line, then that's the creative part of it.
It's creative, but right, no gadget because there's no mechanism.
Gadget, there's no mechanism. It's just a magnet. That's just a magnet with a washer on the back of it it just holds it in place.
Poor Audie also, I mean, he's dealing with a newborn. We love you, buddy. Yeah, but he says he's gonna have to join the donating contest because we're driving him crazy. So I understand. I'm with you.
We may be splitting hairs.
No, we're defining. We're trailblazing a definition.
After 3 wrong answers, you're never allowed. So I was reading the same thing.
3, you can't. It resets and you can't. It locks. And
That would make it a gadget cache because it's a mechanism to determine that it locks. So that'd be more like a smart cache.
Locks forever. No, let's not go that far.
No, well, what is it? It's the reverse geocache that you have to have a box. That's a gadget cache, where you have to go to a different location and it opens up. So and if you do it, you only have so many times you can do it before it locks for so many hours.
Oh man, that would be Ooh, yeah.
That's another one I want to build. I want to build a reverse geocache for an event and be able to change the location at each event.
So good question. That brought up a question. So when we were going caching in Rome, Georgia, by the way, that was exactly 1 year ago today.
I know.
So that was rough seeing that come up on Facebook that we had such a great time there. But while we were there, Bounce brought out a cache. It was creative.
Okay. I'm trying to remember which one because he had a whole bunch of them there.
Yeah, the one that we did, I think he had it also at Geo Woodstock, where you had to use RFID cards.
That's a gadget cache.
Oh, but okay.
It unlocks without. It has a mechanism that unlocks, right?
Yeah,
and it's
right.
and it's electronical.
It's electronical. It's very electronical.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What if one of us had also a show and tell item where you have a PVC pipe where the only way you can get the cache is you have to open up another section of the cache and you have to lift a part of it and makes the cache come up. Well, what do you know? He's got one.
Talking about this one.
What about timing?
All right, so Just open it up.
Ta-da! There's the cache.
Gadget.
Oh, whoa.
Simple mechanism.
It's great. It's very creative.
a
We know it's
mechanism.
creative, but is it a gadget cache?
Yes, it's a mechanism.
Okay. All right, I'll accept that. You're convincing me. So, Derek showed a cache PVC which has a counterweight in it.
Right.
You
Let's see if
can
I can get
explain
to
it better than I.
Let me get to it. All right, so let me see if I can.
For the audio listeners.
For an audio listeners. All right, let's see if I can actually. Because none of it's glued together.
Yeah, well, you don't glue it until you yeah.
Sorry, I have a ceiling fan. I wanted to make sure I wasn't going to hit it. All right, so way it's done.
Yes, good thing it wasn't. Every time we say creative, take a drink. No.
No, I'm not going to be responsible for that. All right, I work for Adult and Teen Challenge. Nope. All right, so
Exactly.
so it's a counterweight, and all it is a pill bottle, and the
Filled with
container
marbles or whatever.
sits on top of it, and when you pull the string, it raises this up and as an elevator and pops it out. So it is a simple lever system, and a lever is a mechanism.
Mechanism, so it's a gadget. Now, Tom says he would cheat and he could get that with gum on a stick, but
No, you can't.
you can't. Oh, that's right. You can't. No, Tom, you cannot do it. No cheating.
You would have to pull this out anyways to reveal to get into
Right.
it. And
So
then
you might as well just pull the string and use the counterweight and all
wow,
that.
what if this was 3D tonight? That's kind of freaky.
Yeah.
So simple pulley system, lever, and a pulley system is a mechanism.
Okay, how about this one? Direwolf is, and I think I know what you and I we should have cards where we raise them and we show either gadget or creative, but a PVC tube where you have to plug the hole at the bottom and you fill the PVC tube with water to get the cache to rise to the top. Let's say it together at the same time. 1, 2, 3. Creative.
Creative.
Yes. It's a creative cache. There's no mechanical for that.
Tide is not a mechanism.
Or water.
Right. Now, if you use the water to turn a wheel inside of a cache, like a paddle wheel,
Yeah.
and it spun, and as it spun and it raised one like how we just showed that one, that would be a gadget.
Ooh. See, I like this.
Okay, I'm getting a lot of good ideas, so you may see some of these ideas coming up on some future builds pretty
See,
soon.
there you go. What about this one? This
Yep.
is one that and I definitely want to do one. I've found some like this before. A water wheel mechanism.
Yeah, that's what I just said. Yeah, water
Oh,
wheel
yeah.
mechanism
Gotcha.
equals gadget. So that's what we
Sorry.
were just talking
Yep,
about.
That'd be a gadget.
See, confirmation.
You had a video of this. The truck's done them. I've found them before. They're a lot of fun. Spring loaded, where you've got to
The
find
pinball, where you pull it down.
Yeah,
and shoot
you got
it
to
out.
find you find the lever. If you pull it properly, the cache will shoot out the top. It's a gadget cache.
That's it's a gadget cache because
Okay.
it's a mechanism.
Did one recently in Kansas. Audie Olson has a gadget. He has many gadget caches. I'm trying to think. Does he have any creative caches? I think
I don't know. He's got
he
some.
does.
He's got some pretty cool caches. So
He has a lot of cool
yes,
caches.
he does have creative caches because all gadget caches are creative caches.
Right. But does he have any that are just creative? And I do know of one that's down from Mingo, and it's very much like the evolution of the traffic stop. I won't give any more away because you need to go find it.
Okay,
'Cause it's
so
really cool.
a screw is considered a simple machine, aka mechanism.
There you go.
So
screw,
he's,
well-
so he's saying if you take a screw and you
No.
screw it into
Mm.
the water. Now, if it had a valve is a mechanism, right? So if you turn the valve on or off and you filled it up with water and the cache came up, would that make it a gadget? And then when you open it up, then so you wouldn't have to use it?
Right, see,
Would
now
that make it? I mean, like I said, it can be down to splitting hairs.
I thought we had this solved, and you and Adi Olson had to mess everything up.
Well, I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with what Adi said there.
Owen from KC, the travel bug is a creative. It can be a gadget, but more than likely, no. It's usually just a creative cache.
It's a creative cache. Now, but Bounce or Chad, Bounce has a gadget cache because it's electronical that is a travel bug hotel. So yes, his is a gadget cache, creative gadget cache. I have one that I've been kind of playing around with some LEDs and some toggle switches to figure. Okay, now
Gadget.
it's a toggle switches and it'll give you numbers, but you're solving a field puzzle. But is it because it's electronic? Does it immediately make it a gadget cache, or is it a simple creative cache? So it's a gadget cache. Okay.
The challenge is to create a non-mechanism gadget cache or a non-gadget mechanism cache. Go do it.
Now, I do have one that I have plans for that somebody sent me that I absolutely love, and I'm not going to reveal it here. That is when West Virginia Tim did it, if you go back to some of his videos where he had to push the drawer in and it revealed an LED light somewhere inside and you look through like the peephole.
Yes.
And he saw the code on the back wall. Well, that's how I did mine.
Yeah.
This one has it as a preform in the top, and then when you push the drawer in, instead of it lighting up with that, it is actually a mechanism that releases the preform that you
gotcha.
somehow. So that's a little bit different. So that's a gadget. So that's a little bit different. So that's a simple mechanism kind of way, but I've seen the plans for it, and I have the plans for it, and that one may be coming up soon too.
Cool.
But that one is definitely a gadget. All right. Yep. I know. Okay.
John, you're correct. John, you are correct. He has one out that has like the pull. Mm-hmm. So that's cool. Yeah.
John and I have talked online before.
Those are cool ones to have, to do, so. Oh yeah, I guess in a sense water makes electricity, but then again, you have to have something mechanical to make it a gadget, not just water.
Right.
I would think water created some kind of blinking light
or some movement,
or if you poured water in it and it provided you an electronic code,
which they can, because there are sensors that you can get for Arduinos. But once again, Arduino equals gadget.
Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay, so what if we? Okay, so this one, and once again, I got to make sure I don't. This is another patient's cache.
Oh yeah, those are rough.
This one
can be.
Yeah, this is really long. So it's down here, so you have to use nails or sticks to
PVC pipe with lots of holes in it,
you
have to use
walk it all the way up.
Yeah, mark it all the way to the top. That's a rough one. You made a very large patient's cache.
Yeah, it's about 5 feet tall.
Because if you drop it, it's going to fall away to the bottom, and you're going to go, dang it.
Yeah, can I give you? I'm going to give you a little behind the scenes in the video.
Okay.
I cheated.
Oh, did you flip it over?
Yeah, I pulled it up and then put the nails in, and sorry, I don't know if you heard that, but some of my caches just fell down my wall.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I moved it up and finished it up for the end of the video, because I did get it up to there, and I wanted to end the video happy, so instead of angry.
There you go. Perfect.
So
hopefully
that one there.
Hopefully nothing broke.
No, it didn't. It just slide. It was the one with the counterweight in it.
Oh, okay.
So that is all right. Should we say that one? Is that a gadget or is that a creative?
That is a creative cache.
That's right. That's a creative cache.
See, I'm getting this idea. I'm working it out in my head here. I think we've got something working here. I really do.
Okay, one more.
Okay.
Oh, that's that one.
I think people are starting to. Give us a thumbs up if you're liking this.
There it is. I'd already moved it.
You're appreciating the discussion.
Lever is a mechanism. That's correct.
Marcellus. Glad to see you, my friend.
Lever is a mechanism. Correct.
Lever is a mechanism. It is a Oh, what is the definition of that?
It's a simple mechanism.
It's a type 1 mechanism. I think I
So if it has a lever, it is a gadget cache
gotta
because it
Google
is
that.
a mechanism. All right, so this one, smaller pipe. The cache is inside.
Okay. A
And
class
there's
1 lever, you can have where, yeah, okay. There's different types of levers. One of them, there are classes. Okay, go ahead.
Right, and I have a rare earth magnet
Yes.
that I can slide up. Much better magnet than I used in the video. To bring out the cache. Creative or gadget?
I was gonna let the chat room comment
Chat room,
first.
let's comment. So
I know what I would answer.
I'm using a magnet to bring up the cache logbook container itself. Is this a gadget or is this a creative cache?
Yeah.
Direwolf.
Darwin's
Creative.
got it right. It is a
Yep.
creative.
It's a creative cache. There is no mechanism.
Stop it. Jeff's just trying to. He's turned into Mr. Pot Stirrer. Yeah. Marcellus. We had to have some smart people here tonight.
Yep.
Marcellus, you are correct. It is creative.
So Direwolf wants to know, what does he win?
What does he win?
Attaboy. Attaboy.
Yay! You win a prize of nothing. Sorry. I will give you a pat on the back next time I see. Well,
All right, so here's a good question.
Post COVID.
If a cacher brings the proper gadget / mechanism to access the log, is it a gadget cache? Now, would that be like I've seen some where you had to build a key before you ever got to the cache itself
Oh,
to unlock it. Does that make that a gadget cache? And
it's a gadget.
it's a gadget. That's what I would think.
It's a gadget. All prize announcements are for another show. That's good.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's land this plane.
All right.
Land this gadgety creative plane to the ground tonight. Where did we go tonight? Where are we at?
So I think we determined that all gadget caches are creative caches, but not all creative caches are gadget caches. Some field puzzles are creative caches, but not all field puzzles are creative caches.
Yes.
So how much wood would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? It's basically where we're at. I think a woodchuck would chuck a lot of wood if a woodchuck could chuck wood. So that's kind of where we're at. I think we actually did determine that a creative cache is a cache without any type of mechanism to actually get into it, and you have to as a field puzzle, or not necessarily a field puzzle, but a type of puzzle on the container to get into it itself. Whereas a gadget cache has to have some type of electronic or non-electronic mechanical mechanism to access the logbook.
Boy,
And that could also include if the mechanism reveals the code to unlock the box itself. So say, for instance, the cache that Daniel Flieger sent to Joshua in his video, where you're using the spoons and you got to get it all the way up to the top.
Mm-hmm.
And when the disc pushes up on the top, it reveals the code to the lock itself.
Right.
That's a gadget.
Okay.
Because you're using a levering system that you're lifting the disc up to get to a button that you push to reveal the code itself. So that's a gadget.
Ooh, man, that's the hardest one for me to say, because to me
You're using a fulcrum.
but it's not really, to me I would say no. I would say that's a creative cache, because you can then throw in there things that somebody mentioned. I'm sure who it was, who said, Well, if you twist off a bison tube, you're mechanically undoing the screw on the cache. Therefore, you see what I'm saying?
Right, but that could go the same thing as an ammo can.
Without anything.
I'm opening the latch.
The latch.
That's a
That's what I was
mechanism. That's a mechanism, right? That's a
Yeah.
locking mechanism.
But
Does
that's what
that
I'm
make
saying.
it a gadget cache? No, I don't think so.
The only one that I would disagree with you on is that one, which is you got to use chopsticks or something to move the cache up to the top. To me, there's no mechanism.
Yeah, there is, because you have to bring the lever up to reveal, because remember, it had I'm going to use this. So say this is hidden with the code, and when you push, can't show it. This is hidden with the code, and when you push that button up, it reveals the code. Or here, let's do it this way. So this is down here where you can't see it, and you couldn't see it in the screen at all. Sorry about that. So you can't see this at all. So when you bring up the disc up here, and it pushes here, and it opens up to reveal the code, and then when it drops, it does not reveal the code. That's the mechanism.
Okay.
So it makes it a gadget cache.
We've almost got there. But I don't necessarily. That's the one we're going to have to think about, because is it okay? So you're saying, but see, to me, to be a gadget, we need to wrap up. But the gadget, to be a gadget, there has to be a gadget. Does that sound wrong?
To be a gadget, there has to be a mechanism.
There has to be right.
A mechanical mechanism.
But to me, a gadget has to be electronical. I did it again.
Face off, Jeff. Stalemate.
Dang it! No, there's no stalemate.
No, there's not. No, we're just. I don't know. That one is kind of splitting hairs, and I kind of agree with Gary on it too. Is, would it be considered a gadget, or would it be considered a creative cache? I personally.
It's a draw. No, we solved this. Yes, we know. The final answer is that they're all fun. So.
Yes, and that's very true, and that's our goal, is to find these fun and great caches.
Find and make them. I'm tired of people not making caches.
Right, and that's why probably a lot of and I saw this too. I have a warehouse. My garage.
Never hidden a cache. Go hide a cache.
Right, and that's what my channel really is about, and even what we do on Gadget Talk.
Yeah,
is we may not put this cache out at the time because we may be working on it, but my job is to get your creative juices flowing and give you ideas of what you can create. And I love to see where it goes from there. And the same thing with Chad when we do the gadgets on there, what we can do. Like this last week, we did the acrylic ammo can insert.
Yeah, that was a good one.
There's many different things that you can do with that to make it into a gadget cache or a creative cache, depending on how you want to do it with a different lock on there.
Yes.
This is a creative cache.
Right.
So
preform. He's showing a preform with a lock on it.
With a lock on it, and once it unlocks, now, could this be a gadget cache? No, it would not be a gadget cache if you put this in a birdhouse, and you had some type of way to actually locking the preform in place in the birdhouse, so this does not come out, and you had the lock here, and you actually had to solve the code to unlock this part. Just to get, I'm pushing down the mechanism wrong. You'd have to pull that open to unscrew this part of it. Does that make it a gadget cache? I don't think so. It's still creative cache because you're solving a puzzle to get into the lock on that one.
Yeah. Creative. To me, a gadget has to have some type of either electronic or mechanical that you're not doing. That's my other part of the definition is, if I'm the mechanical part to it, then it's not gadget. I am not a gadget. I'm going to get a shirt that says that. I am not the gadget. If the cache provides a gadget, then it's a gadget cache.
Okay. Another West Virginia Tim one. Had the the 3 LEDs inside, and he held the ends of it and the circuit that doesn't hurt you. You complete the circuit with your hands to create the color, the red, green, blue.
But I'm not providing the
You're not providing the current.
I'm providing it, but yet I'm not making colors in.
That thing inside of it's making colors, but you're connecting the circuit with your body.
So it's a gadget.
If you're performing it, so that's a gadget, or is that a creative cache? Because the colors reveal the code for the
colors
block.
Make it is electronic, making it a gadget. Derek's there's a thought bubble right currently for the audio listeners.
I think that still makes that as a gadget.
It is a gadget. Yes. Yeah. Okay, we've solved it.
Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Dun dun.
Yeah. Okay, before we go any further, before we muddle the waters that we just cleared, let's wrap up.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone, and we will see you on Tuesday night for Gadget Talk.
Gadget Talk,
where we're going to talk creative caches. Right?
Almost.
Roomba Cats.
We're Roomba Cats, and he has lots of gadgets, but we're all going to be built. He's going to be showing us how he builds his containers, really to hide his gadget caches so they don't get muggled. So that's the biggest thing. So it's because we always are wondering how can we put these gadgets out there and not get muggled and destroyed. And he's had a very low rate. So he's going to show us how he makes big rocks and his big stumps that he puts his gadgets in.
Nice. That's going to be a great show. So that's Tuesday night. So, all right, here we go.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
There you go. Good night, everybody.
All right, good night.